welcome to the class number 1. Unlike the other class number 1s, there's 2 classes today. How many classes did we used to have? Archer. Incorrect. Ocean.
4.
4? What are you playing golf? What are you, Donald Trump? Okay, so are you that evil or no?
No.
Not yet. You're too young. You'll get there, right?
Not yet.
Right? Trump's your favorite?
No.
No? You like her, not you. Have you heard of Donald Trump? Say no.
Say no.
What? She shook her head and like it wasn't a joke. So that's good job. Extra credit. Okay, so today's class is for under 1400. Okay, and Ocean is under 1400 and he's over. He's both. Good job. And Archer is. You're also over and under 1400.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm serious too. They are both under and over 1400. I'm not kidding. How's that possible? I'm serious too. You.
My posted rating is 1400 and my actual rating is...
That's right. Yeah, you're like 1420 officially, and then your last term you're like 1397 or something. So you can come to both classes. Yeah, the more classes you come to, the more I get paid. Okay, also you guys didn't donate lately. Terrible. You thought I was terrible. Look at you. Look in the mirror. Don't do that. It'll break. Okay, so today, due to popular demand, we're going to talk about your favorite player. Who's your favorite player?
Bobby Fischer.
Ah, you.
Morphy.
Right, you just have to look up there and it says Paul Morphy.
Yeah,
all you gotta do is be able to
that's what I
see.
did.
Terrible. Okay, so we're gonna talk about Paul Morphy, but I'm gonna try to look at games we never looked at before, otherwise you've seen them before. Now the reason I like to talk about Morphy, which I've talked about in previous videos, but you were asleep, is, were you asleep?
Yes.
No information coming over here. Good job. Okay, very tight-lipped. What was I gonna say? Let's see, Trump's no good. Okay, so, well, you're from Indiana. I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're a Pence fan.
No kidding.
So wait, you want Trump to be impeached? That way, Pence is the president. Wait, the Indiana Pence. Oh, you know Pence better than we do, so you don't
Exactly.
don't like
That's
Pence?
exactly right.
Yeah, right. He was thinking about it. He's very pensive. Okay, now the kids didn't get it. All right, now the reason Paul Morphy games are good to show people is that in general, Morphy played pretty well. Some people say 2300 strength. I say 2700 strength. Okay, you can argue. And his opponents did not play well. But they had a good excuse. You know what their excuse was? Do you know?
Too old?
No, they didn't know how to play chess. So Morphy, who you may not have heard of, he was playing chess in the 1840s and 1850s. So that was a while ago, right? I was watching those games. That's why I got such old, gray beard. And they didn't play very well, and then he would crush them. Okay? And then we'd look at the games and go, oh, that guy plays good, that guy doesn't play good. Let's play like the other guy, right? And then people got better at chess because... Now this is funny. Today I was looking at your favorite tournament, the European Team Championship, which is going on now. Okay? And I was looking at... This is for the next lecture. And I was looking at games where somebody won, because I want to show those games. Not like 10-move draw, I want to show that. So every game everybody won was between 35 and 100 moves. Pretty long. Every game Morphy won was 25 moves or less. I didn't do that on purpose, that's just what happened. Okay, Morphy just went like this, and then you went, help, it's Morphy. Okay? Also known as Godzilla. Okay, let's look at the first game, Morphy versus Morphy. And he's playing Alonzo, who is either his dad or his uncle. Nobody knows. When I say nobody knows, everybody knows. What do I know? And actually, in my opinion, which you can disagree with, that's why Morphy was good at chess, because his family was good. He played his uncle and his dad when he was little, watched them play, and he got better. And his family wasn't so bad. They're not famous, but... Okay, so this is against Alonzo Morphy. Morphy's white and Morphy's black. I'm serious.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay, the Morphy in question that we're analyzing, he's white. Okay, E4, E5. Have you ever had that position?
No.
What about you?
No.
Yeah? You don't know? Okay, good answer. What about you?
Many times.
Have you had more white or more black?
More white.
Okay. And he played F4, which is called?
The King's Gambit.
The King's Gambit. Do a lot of grandmasters play that now?
Yes.
I'll try a different answer.
No.
No, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, right now, if you looked at 100 grandmaster games randomly that were played in the last 5 years, you would see 0 of that. If you looked at 1,000 grandmaster games, you might see 1 or 2. Okay, grandmasters are afraid to play F4 because your king's open and your pawn's hanging. Okay, they don't like that. But in the 1800s, they played really aggressive and attacked. which is good for you guys. You guys should attack. Then your opponents go, no, stop attacking me. Then the director comes, tells them to be quiet. No talking during the game, right? Okay, so Morphy played f4, the King's Gambit. Now, on the internets, about 4 days ago, I was on Twitter, and Kasparov wrote that Boris Spassky, who was the world chess champion, who beat Spassky to become world champion? Fischer. And who did Spassky beat to become world champion? Ah, there's a tough one. Yeah, nobody knows that.
Himself?
What's that?
Tigrosian?
Well, you mixed both of his names. I like that.
Yeah.
Tigran Petrosian. You made it one name. That's good. Good job. Yeah, Petrosian from Armenia. And Spassky would play the King's Gambit occasionally and in the 60s and 70s. And Kasparov said Spassky never lost with the King's Gambit. So he played f4 and he beat GMs and never lost. So it's probably not that bad. Okay, Alonso took the pawn. That's the recommended move. Bishop c4. Also, you could play knight f3, which is probably slightly more common. Okay, and black played check, and white moved his king. And you might say, I have a question. You might say that, and say, white's down a pawn, and white just moved his king. What kind of player is this?
Paul Morphy.
Paul Morphy. Well, the problem is, white's going to get a big center, white's going to get his pawn back, and black's going to make a lot of queen moves. Black's going to go here, then black's going to move his queen again, because it's going to get attacked. Okay, and that's what happened. Now black threatens checkmate, right? So if this was St. Louis, and this was the 1 o'clock class, nobody would see checkmate, but it's okay, because the player with black wouldn't see it either, so it'd be really funny, right? Okay, so Morphy obviously sees checkmate, plays d4. Is this checkmate now?
Yes. No.
Does Ocean ever tell the truth? Yes was the funnier answer. Okay. Okay, so queen f2 just hangs the queen, so you move the bishop. Knight f3, obviously, frankly, threatening the queen. The queen moved away. And knight c3. And as you see with a lot of Morphy games, he gets all of his pieces out, and his opponent moves his queen a lot. That's a typical Morphy game. Okay, knight f6, queen to d3, defending the pawn. c6, preparing to play the move d5, I assume. Also preventing knight d5 later. Bishop takes f4. Now remember when black took this pawn on f4, and Morphy, the player with white, said, I'm never going to take that pawn back. And then his relative said, you said you were going to take that pawn back, and you did. And Morphy said, I lied. So yeah, man, tough family. Okay, remember when I said I captured you last? I lied. Okay, so now we got typical Morphy. All the pieces are developed, even the ones that aren't. And he's got 2 pawns in the center, and then black's got all this back rank action going on. That's good for white. d5 attacking the center, although it's not defended, so he took it. Castles, d6, passed pawn, rook e1. Notice, Morphy moves a different piece every move. Okay, did he move his rook yet? So he moved it. Okay, so Morphy moved all these things I'm highlighting. That's a lot of things, isn't it? Okay, and then black moved this piece 1, 2, 3 times, and he moved this piece 2 times. Okay, and then he didn't move any of these pieces. Boo! So that's the wrong Morphy. Okay, rook e8, knight g5. What does knight g5 attack? Knight h3?
Yes. Yes.
Anyone?
F7.
What's the threat? f7. Okay, we got a lot of f7 action. So in my opinion, it's only my opinion, when your opponent has a bishop attacking f7, pinning your pawn, and your rook's on f8, might want to leave your rook on f8 because it's defending the pawn. Then when he undefends the pawn, Morphy attacks it. Okay, check, king takes. Now they took with the king. He can castle later, right?
No.
What? You're telling the truth. Okay.
Right.
Queen e8 check, stopping castling again. King d2, bishop e6. And now he plays rook e1. What's that called?
Pin.
Yeah, he pins the bishop. Notice, Morphy moves all of his pieces. Okay, black, not as much. Close. Finally completing development. And now here's a good question for the class. In fact, we're going to vote. You can also vote at home that you can ask your family how you did, okay, even though they're not talking to you. Okay, so we take twice. And now, white can take with the rook or the bishop. We're going to vote. Voting's fun. Yeah. Okay, who votes rook takes e6? We didn't get you, okay, maybe. And who votes bishop takes e6? Okay, and who votes for neither one? All right, we have a lot of votes for everything. There's 4 people in the class. Okay, bishop takes e6 is a fine move, and then black moves his king. Rook takes e6 is even better, because we're attacking the queen, you agree. If the queen moves, we have double, triple, quadruple discovered checkmate. For example, if you go here, then this is checkmate, confusing the audience.
Yes,
That's not confusing.
What? Is that confusing?
No, it's
Yeah, so you got check over here, you got check over here. All right, you should double check your analysis. And other moves lose the queen. Is there a way to save the queen? Let's see, queen f7, rook f6. Man. I'm trying not to lose a queen, but I can't do it. I'm trying though. Yeah, well, black's gonna lose a queen. Now, you might think I'm a good player, but black must be even better because he found a way to not lose his queen.
Oh, I know how.
You!
He blunders checkmate.
No. That's a good answer though. You're thinking outside the box. How did black not lose his queen? You with the right answer.
Resigned.
He resigned. He gave up. Have you ever... Actually, I did that. Have you ever given up before? Right, yeah, don't give up. Yeah, terrible. What would Peter Gabriel say?
Don't give up, buck up.
He would say don't give up, even though you never heard of him. What would Kate Bush say? She'd also say don't give up. It's a duo, come on. Learn your music from 35 years ago. Okay, all right, good job. All right, let's look at another Morphy game because that one was too brutal. Okay, now he's playing Rufus and or Doofus. I think he might have both names. This is in New Orleans, which I've never been to. Okay, I've never seen this position before. Oh, wait, I saw it last game. Okay, f4. This is the same, right? And now Morphy played knight f3. What did he play the last game?
Bishop c.
Bishop c4. Okay, now queen h4 check is less attractive because it hangs the queen. Okay, so Rousseau played g5. That's actually the main move now. h4, that's one of the main moves. g4. Now you can play knight e5 or knight g5. He played knight g5. h6. And now Morphy went into Morphy mode, but he had to, because the knight has nowhere to go. Now, did black develop all of his pieces so far?
No.
No. So Morphy sacked on f7. You have to take it. Queen takes g4, and he's going to start attacking the black king, rawr, with his queen and bishop. And then he'll castle, and his rook will get into the game. Okay, so black did develop a piece, his king. Okay, so queen f6, defending. Bishop c4 check. King moves. Knight c3. I wonder what the threat is.
Resign.
Knight b1.
What is it?
Knight b1.
Which is a sillier answer? Resign or knight b1? That's a good one. Like after you said resign, I thought you topped it, but then he said knight b1, so he wins. He thought something funny after what you said. Yeah. Now you can see why they're over and they're under 1400. When they're right, they're but when they're wrong, then you with the right answer.
Knight d5.
Knight d5, and what's that called? What you're doing to the king and queen?
Double attack.
Fork and double attack. Okay, so black played c6, obviously stopping knight d5. e5 attacking the queen, and whenever Morphy gives material, they always take it. Now, this is called opening up lines. And an acquaintance of mine in Michigan, before all of you were born, which is true, he said, losing pawns is a good idea, you get more open files for your rooks. So he would blunder a pawn by accident and say, well, my rook has an open file. And here, white gave a pawn away on purpose. Now, do you know the difference between giving a pawn away for nothing and sacrificing on purpose? You know what the difference is? You with the wrong answer.
Well,
Incorrect. The correct answer is if you win, you sacrifice the pawn. If you lose, you blundered it. Yeah, see,
Oh!
yeah, see, a couple people got that. All right, so here obviously he sacrificed it. And now look, he moved his king, and now white's threatening rook e1. Okay, we call that a clearance sacrifice. When your own pieces are in the way, you get rid of them so rook can have open files. Okay, black played king d8, getting the opposition to white's king. Rook e1, obviously. Notice again, Morphy moves all of his pieces, and his opponent moved one. That's close,
Get the
right?
king.
Okay, so queen c5 attacking the bishop. Bishop takes knight, a free knight. And now, black played a discovered attack because he discovered it. d5. Notice the bishop is attacking the queen. Now I want to tell you a funny story. Okay, an acquaintance of mine in Chicago, he teaches chess. And he teaches his kids, in this position, I want you to play bishop c5. And then if they play knight g5, you can take it. And he says, he tells his kids that, and they're like, yeah. Then they forget every time. And they always go here, because they move instantly and forget what he said. Then they go here and they're like, oh yeah, that's right. Now this isn't that bad for black, but it's confusing because they forgot what they were doing. Okay, so he told me a funny story. He said sometimes after here, his opponents play there, the kids' opponents, and what does black do? Takes the knight. And when white does that, about half the time, white does it on purpose. Confusing my audience. True story though. And the reason they do that, it's a sacrifice, and they go here. And it works about half the time. But he tells his students about this trick, so it doesn't work on them. The trick is, once you see d4, you see the bishops attacked, and you see 3 ways to take it, so a lot of people don't see bishop takes queen. So after d4, if black doesn't see bishop takes queen, white wins a queen. And it works about half the time at the level I'm talking about. However, if you do see bishop takes queen, you go here, and white super resigns. So it's a very risky strategy. Now white's incredibly losing. White's down a piece, and everything's hanging. Okay, and if I turn the engine on, it'll just blow up my computer, and the lecture will end. Okay, so the reason I showed you that is because that's what black did. In this position, black played d5, attacking the white queen. Did Morphy see that, or he gave his queen away? If he gave his queen away and didn't see it, we have to go to his Wikipedia page and delete it. Okay, that would be my last day at Wikipedia. Well, you don't get that joke because it happened 3 weeks ago, but you guys get it. No, they don't get anything. Remember on Twitter, the guy's last day at Twitter? Donald Trump, nothing?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Donald Trump's Twitter account was deleted,
Yeah.
and they're like, who deleted it? And it was a guy who worked at Twitter, it's his last day on the job, he deleted it. Yeah, so that was pretty funny. Okay, so anyway, I would have to delete Paul Morphy's Wikipedia page if he doesn't see bishop takes queen. Now Morphy did something you never heard of, called removing the defender. Okay, so Morphy wanted to take this bishop for free, but it's defended by the king, right? So he made the king move away. What a mean guy. How did Morphy make the king move away?
Rook e8.
Rook e8. So the guy's like, thanks for the bishop. And Morphy's like, thanks for the bishop. Let's go back. Thanks for the rook. Takes the bishop. Black made the obvious move.
King
The only move, right. All right, now the reason Morphy sacrificed the exchange, obviously if he wants to, he can keep taking things and checking. But he had a brilliant move in mind. This is a really nice sacrifice. What's that?
Queen e6.
That's not really a sacrifice. The Queen e6 is a fine move.
Oh.
You don't destroy the tape. Yeah, don't, what are you doing over there? Yeah, all right. You.
Knight takes d5.
Yeah, he played knight takes d5 because it's check. I tell all of my students, if your opponent can check you or take something, you should have seen that. In this instance, it's both. He checked you and he took something. Now, you'll notice it's check, because I said so. Black has 2 legal moves. I'm serious.
Yeah.
He can take the knight, or he can move his king. Is there other legal moves?
No.
Oh, I didn't see queen takes knight. There's 3 legal moves. Queen takes knight, and then you take the queen. Okay.
There's another move.
That's not queen takes knight, pawn takes knight, or king d6? No, now I don't agree.
Resign.
That's not a move.
Oh.
Why do kids think resigning offering a draw is a move? Do you know what a move is? Move has the word move in it, like you move. Yeah. Those aren't moves. Those are things that can happen that aren't moves. Okay. Like if your opponent dies of a heart attack and you win, that's not a move. That's just what happens when you play me. Okay. Now pawn takes is complicated. Now we take the queen. Okay. Black didn't want to lose his queen, and he didn't want to resign, so he only has one choice. King d6. Now Morphy played the recommended move.
Main one.
Recommended by me.
Queen
You.
e6.
Queen c7.
Queen c7 checkmate. Or, as Ocean pointed out, Queen e6 checkmate. That's a lot of checkmates. Yeah, Queen c7 is easier. That's 1 square. Queen e6 is 2 squares. Yeah. So he played the easier one. Yeah. Okay, so that was Morphy playing somebody who wasn't related to him. Notice at the end of the game, Morphy's got a lot of attacking pieces. His opponent's like, nah, let's keep those there, where they belong. Right? That way when you resign, you can reset the board faster. Good job from his opponent. Okay, next, he was playing Morphy again, and it was a match. Very suspicious. Okay, Paul's white again. Now he plays knight f3, which is common today. Bishop c4. b4. Only 3 people in this room know what that's called.
Devin's Gambit.
Well, I guess 4, because I'm in this room. The Evans Gambit, named after...
Evan.
It's not Evan, it's Evans. It's not like it's, saying his name and putting an S on it. His name was Evans. Yeah. What was his first name? His first name was Captain, and his middle name was William. Captain William Evans. Like I'm Grandmaster Ben Finegold, first name Grandmaster. Okay, Captain William Evans was a ship captain, and he invented b4, giving a pawn away. There's a lot of famous Morphy games where b4 is played, where he's white and black, not at the same time. In today's game, very few Grandmasters will play b4. However, Kasparov famously won against which Indian world champion?
Anand.
Yeah, Anand. And that was in 1995, I think, but I could be wrong, because I've been wrong a lot. And you take the pawn, because it's a free pawn, and white gets this big center. Hooray! And white still gets a big center. And black's play this game wasn't very good. Now, white's down a pawn, but look at his nice center. Hooray! Okay, knight a5. Is that what you should do when you play chess? You should take a piece that you already moved and move it to the side of the board? Is that a good idea? No, what would the Germans say about knight a5?
Nine.
They would say, Ish don't think so. Okay? Or they could say it's not so good, but then Kara might delete that, but she probably won't even notice. So I'll probably just get that in there. Okay, right, Ben Simon? Okay, knight a5, attacking the bishop. Okay, Morphy's opponents famously didn't get all their pieces out too often. Bishop d3, retreating like a Frenchman. He's in New Orleans, so of course. d5, opening up the center with his king there. Now you could laugh at black's play, but that's why we play better now. We're like, oh, you put your knight on the side and you lost. You opened up the center when your king was there, so you lost. Then we stopped doing that. But in 1849, what did they know? They know nothing. Did they log on to the internet and find out? Is that what they did?
No.
No, not 1849, maybe 1859. Okay, white took, opening up the file to black's king. Bishop a3. That stops black from castling kingside for a long time. Bishop e6. I guess black's going to castle queenside. Knight c3 attacking the queen. d5 attacking. Man, it's tough to castle when the guy makes a threat every move. The truth hurts. Bishop takes d5, opening up the center. Rook e1 check. Now, we're going to vote. Notice, white is down 2 pawns, because white is down 2 pawns. Yeah, okay. And black is in check. We're going to vote what the computer says the evaluation is. Does the computer say this is equal? White's slightly better? White's winning? Or white is super duper winning? Who says it's equal? Who says white's slightly better? Who says white's winning? Who says white's super duper duper winning? Okay, we had 3-1. 3 said white's winning, and 1 said white's super duper duper winning. Okay, the game ended with me pushing the arrow and you seeing nothing. Well, how come you don't see anything when I push the arrow?
Because black resigned.
Black resigned. When I turn on the engine, what's the number going to be?
1,000?
Maybe.
No, it's something like plus 11. Something like that, yeah. That's the super duper winning, right? Yeah. Black resigned because black's in check. He doesn't want to block with his queen because that's silly. If he blocks with his knight, then white can take it 2 different ways, probably with a rook. And if he moves his king, let's say to d7, I don't know. Okay, now I can win your queen with bishop b5 check. Notice how it's check.
And this pen.
And also, I think I'm not winning your queen. I think I'm mating you. Yeah. And if you play c6, you're not defending your queen. It's pinned. And then, if you play king d8, I'm sure everything wins, but I like bishop b5.
I agree.
Yeah, then I'm going to mate you and take all your pieces. I can't mate you now because it's illegal, but I can go here, and then, man, the truth hurts. Now black should castle. That's the 1 o'clock class on, yeah. Okay, and then after here, oh, he's in check. Here, and then mate. Yeah, harsh. Okay, and there's other ways to win also, but after rook e1 check, black gave up. Now, let's analyze this position. It's like every other position. Black's pieces haven't moved yet. Black's knight is on the side of the board. And white castled, put his rook in the middle, and got all of his pieces out. Every game is like that. And at some point, people said, hey, we should stop playing stupid and start playing good. Good is getting all your pieces out and castling. I teach thousands of kids that, and they're like, Then when I watch them play, they move pawns every move. And I'm like, we just learned not to do that. And they said, yeah, move my pieces later. What, you mean like in 5 years? Okay, so every game, you should castle, move all your pieces out, and if you don't, Morphy's gonna get you. Right? You don't want that to happen. Okay. It could be any Morphy, probably Paul. Okay, here's the game against NN. Okay, NN has a terrible record throughout history, but he played for hundreds of years, right? NN means like no name or unknown. We don't know who the guy was. Anonymous. Because you don't want to know when a guy crushes you. I don't want my name there, right? Okay, so Morphy's white. Now, let's see who the smartest is. I'm going to bet against all of them. I'm serious, too. What's unusual about this position? Wow, they're all raising your hand. You've never raised your hand.
There's no rook.
There's no rook. Yeah, I was wrong as usual. Yeah. You know why there's no rook? You don't know why? Well, he knows why.
He played with odds.
Yeah, he played without his rook because the guy's no good. Now, let's say you play somebody you know, and you beat them 10 games in a row, and they don't want to play you anymore because you always beat them. You don't have to stop playing them. You can take your rook off and then play them. And then if you still beat them, take your queen off. And if you still beat them, you keep doing that. Okay? And that way you can get it where it's sort of fair. And they did this a lot 100 years ago because Morphy, he won 1,000 games in a row, so they're like, you take a rook off. Did that hurt? Now, when Morphy took a rook off, I think he won even more. Now, I have a funny story. It has to do with the St. Louis Club. Everybody's favorite lecturer is Mike Kummer. Well, he's my favorite lecturer. Okay? And Mike Kummer and I had an argument once. Only once. No, we have arguments a lot. And this is the only argument I ever won. I think he's 100 out of 101. And he said, we were discussing what would happen if I spotted him a rook. And we played 5 minutes each. He's rated about 1750, and I'm being nice. And he said he was the favorite. Like in a 10-game match, he would get like 6 or 5.5. And I said, if we played rook odds 5 minute and we played for the rest of our lives, you would lose every game. He would never draw or win ever. And he was like, all right, so we played a few for fun, and then we didn't play anymore because it seemed that I was right. Yeah. Usually by move 10, I was winning. Yeah. Usually. By move 20, I was always winning. Yeah. Okay, so Morphy, when he spotted a rook, that means his opponent wasn't very good. Now, let me give you some advice. If you spot somebody a rook, or they spot you a rook, that should change your strategy. If you're up a rook, you want a boring game where you're up a rook. You don't want to get checkmated when you're up a rook. How's that rook going to help you? If you're down a rook, you have an exciting game where it doesn't matter if you have a rook because you're mating your opponent. Okay? Well, whenever Morphy spotted a rook, he always mated his opponent like 10 moves. So his opponents weren't good at defending. Okay, let's have a look at the game. And this is actually a famous opening. And in fact, I got an email today from somebody, I don't know who, and they said, hey, can you show the fried liver? Rawr. I'm not sure if they said rawr. And I emailed back, I didn't email back, and I said, I can't, I'm a vegetarian. Oh, right. True story, right? Right, Archer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I've only been a vegetarian for 31 years. Only. Okay? And you're confused. You're like, what? I wasn't even alive then. You were also a vegetarian 31 years.
That's right.
Okay. Now, the fried liver is actually how this is the game, except white doesn't have a rook. So I'm not sure if I'm following his instructions to a T or not, because there's no rook. Okay, so knight g5, attacking this pawn, as we saw earlier in the class. d5, takes, and now grandmasters always play knight a5 here. Okay, but this was a million years ago, so knight takes. Now, if two grandmasters were playing today, we would ask the player with black, why are you a grandmaster? You played knight takes d5. Okay, also we would ask, why are you a grandmaster? White has spotted you a rook. Now, the only time I saw a really good player, about as good as me, he got spotted a rook. I saw it 2 years ago. Or was it last year? I think it was a year ago. It was Lawrence Trent, who's an international master, a very famous internet personality. And his rating is about the same as mine, his FIDE rating, a little less. And he was playing Magnus Carlsen. No? Magnus Carlsen? Never heard of him? Yeah? No? You? He's a world chess champion. Okay, Magnus spotted him a rook, and they played 5-minute chess. And Lawrence is like me, says the truth hurts. And Magnus says, I would get about 4 out of 10 at spotting you a rook. And he's like, what? They played for $1 billion, and after 9 games, Magnus had 4. So he knew exactly how many points he got. It's pretty good. Then they stopped. And so the only player who could be spotted a rook is Lawrence Trent. That's it. And if you don't believe me, let's play a death match and get paid a lot of money. Come on, you afraid of me? All right. So white played knight takes f7. That's the fried liver. Now, let me explain something to all of you. This position with a rook on a1 is the fried liver. If you play knight takes f7 in the chess game, that's not the fried liver. This position is the fried liver. Not, I played knight takes f7, I move 75, that's the fried liver. No. The fried liver is not a move, it's an opening. It's not like I played the fried liver, look what I did. I'm like, it was a Sicilian. It was a Carol Khan, what are you talking about? Okay, now if a grandmaster was white here, what would they play? They wouldn't play knight takes f7. You, incorrect.
Queen f3?
No, they wouldn't do that either. Yeah, this one's tough. They would play d4. And that defends the knight, because I said so. Okay, and then, if they take the pawn, you win a piece. See how the pieces are all hanging? That's a lot of pieces hanging, right? And then if you take with the pawn, now your queen f3 is correct. And the reason is your knight's defended.
Oh.
Okay, so d4 is what a grandmaster would play, but knight f7 is the fried liver, it has a funny name, so that's what everybody plays. Mainly because of the name. I'm serious. That's why it's popular among like little kids. It's called the fried liver. They think it's funny. Now, kids think the fried liver opening is funny, but you think eating fried liver is funny.
No.
See, now that ain't funny.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, very few people like fried liver, especially vegetarians. Okay, so king f7, check. Now you're checking the king, and you're attacking the knight. And you'd like to block with your knight, then the computer makes a loud noise. Because it's illegal. There's only one move you can make which stops check and defends your knight.
King e6.
King e6. And this is like the starting position of the fried liver, except usually white has a rook on a1. Now, if your opponent is intentionally spotting you a rook, are you supposed to move your king up the board? Is that the safest thing to do?
No.
No. Okay, so knight c3, knight e7. This is all theory, except usually there's a rook here on a1. You with some comment.
No. Restriction.
Okay, castles. Well, black's playing pretty reasonably. Now white wants to open the center. How do we get rid of that e5 pawn? That's blocking the center. Rawr! You with the right answer.
d4.
d4. And back in those days, you know, you always took everything. Rook e1 check. So far, this rook wouldn't really be helping white very much. Normally, the rooks help you in the endgame. I have a rook and you don't, so I win. But in the opening, if I'm trying to mate you, my rooks, what are these rooks doing? Right? And as usual, his opponent didn't move a lot of his pieces out, as per usual. That's why he's NN. Okay, king d7, takes, 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 check, right? Okay, now black made a bad move. He played king c7. And now Morphy played a Morphy move.
Bishop
Bishop.
f4.
Yeah, Morphy didn't move his bishop yet, so he moved it. So let's take stock. Every game I say the same thing. White castled and moved all of his pieces, and black didn't move any of his pieces and moved his king a lot. It happens every game. It's a coincidence. Okay, black played the obvious move, but it's actually a mistake.
Bishop d6.
Correct. And now Morphy gave him the sugar me do, because he ordered some coffee. What's the winning move for white? Only Ocean knows.
Queen c5.
Do you agree, Archer?
Yeah.
Yeah, queen c5. Didn't see that coming. That's a good trick, isn't it? You like that trick? Yeah? No? Maybe. Okay, so bishop takes makes my computer make a loud noise, so I won't do that, because it's pinned. King d7 allows mate in 1, therefore it's good for white. See how it's checkmate? Okay, so black played king b8.
And take with bishop.
Right, you could take either way, depends how much style you have. He took with a queen, that way there's no queen left at the end, and then checkmate. Now, actually that has a name. What kind of mate is that? Serious.
Mate.
That's a smothered mate, because the reason it's mate is black's pieces are smothering his king. If only they weren't there, then he'd be winning. Okay, and as per usual, when the game's over, Morphy's opponent's pieces are all in the back row. Now, the reason Morphy doesn't have a better reputation amongst the best players in the world is when they look at his games, they're like, man, his opponents didn't play good. Terrible. If my opponents played terrible, I would win too. Now, about 2 weeks ago, Grishuk, who's number 8 or 9 in the world, maybe, he was interviewed because he was playing a match on chess.com with MVL, who's even higher ranked. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, your favorite player. And they interviewed Grishuk, and they said, Grishuk, and he's like, Grishuk, that's my last name. Grishuk, if you played the great players of the past, how would you do? Like Capablanca and Fischer. Okay, and he said, well, Capablanca I would just crush. Because Capablanca played, 80 years ago, so they figured he says, Fischer, that'd be tough. It's like, I don't know. He says, I'd be the favorite, but I don't know. I don't know if he'd be the favorite, but if Fischer be 20 GMs in a row. Damn. Okay, so the point is, the top players today, when they look at players from 100 years, they're like, they're no good. Okay, now I'll give you an analogy that you'll understand. They won't understand. People run now, like when the cops are chasing them. Okay, so people run, and when you run in the Olympics and the World Championships, they time you. You ran in 10 seconds, you ran in 9 seconds. Well, 100 years ago, if you took the best runners in the world and they ran now, they'd be like you. They didn't run fast then. Right? Run faster now. So 100 years ago, they were trying to run a mile in less than 4 minutes. They were trying. Then somebody finally did it. Now if you're like more than 4 minutes, nobody knows who you are, because that's ridiculous. Now it's like 3 minutes and 45 seconds. It's a lot faster now. And this is with every time. Every time is much faster. Horses are faster. Pitching is faster. Everything's faster. Football players are tougher because they take more drugs. Okay, so the point, but they're bigger too. If you watch the NBA, the basketball, 100 years ago, they were like this tall. Yeah, I wish I was kidding. Yeah, people are taller now. If you watch football 100 years ago, they weighed less than you guys. Right, you'd be the biggest football player ever. Now if you're on the football team, they say, get this kid out of here. Okay, so now I'd be small for a football player. So people get bigger and stronger and faster. Chess players got better because they looked at these games and they got better. We stand on the shoulders of giants, which is why I can change the light bulbs. I make that joke every time and they never remember it. Never. Terrible. Yeah, otherwise, how do you think I change those light bulbs? That's why we have a ladder at our chess club.
Oh, yeah.
That was a double entendre you didn't understand. Okay, good. We actually do have a ladder, but not a chess one.
The tournament?
No, that's the joke. We actually have a real ladder. That's how I change the light bulbs. Okay, so the last game, but not the least game, was he was black because I was tricking all of you. I made you think only Morphy can win with white. Okay, here he's black, New Orleans 1852, and it's the same opening, so he could be white. Okay. And Evans Gambit again. Okay, so Morphy takes. And we saw this already. Okay, and in the game we saw, Morphy's opponent played here. Morphy played bishop a5. Naturally, there's a famous game that I show all the time that started this way with Morphy, but this is a different one. Okay, castles. The famous game I show starts with d4. I've shown that game like 20 times. Okay, that's another game. This is castles, knight f6, d4. Now, in all the previous games in the lecture, Morphy sacrificed material sometimes. Sometimes he started with less material. And then he would get all of his pieces out and his opponents wouldn't. In this game, white sacrificed a pawn and white's supposed to have more pieces out. He's supposed to. But Morphy didn't care if he was sacrificing or you were. He got all his pieces out anyway. Okay, so he castled. And now, both sides have castled, which is unusual in a Morphy game, and black still has more pieces out than white, and black has a pawn up, and black has a better pawn structure. Bishop a3 attacking the rook, d6. Now remember that other game where black played rook e8 and he got crushed on f7? So Morphy didn't do that, he left his rook on f8. Okay, takes, knight takes, threatening the bishop. Bishop b3, bishop g4. Morphy still has more pieces out than his opponent. Morphy gets all of his pieces out and he castles. Is that what you guys do?
No.
You guys say that, that's right, that's finally the truth. You guys say you do, and then when I look at your games, I'm like, what happened? And you were like, well, I wanted to get ice cream, so I forgot to move my pieces out. The ice cream store was closed. Okay, h3, bishop h5, queen d5. Wow, he's almost forking the bishops, except that one's defended. Bishop g6, knight e5. Look how aggressive white's playing. Knight takes, and he takes the bishop, which was defended heretofore, but not now. Okay, now, you may have noticed, but I doubt it, because I know you guys, white has all of his pieces on the queen side, and his king's over there.
So you attack the king.
Well, that's what Morphy did. So Morphy goes, roar! Okay, now he's threatening knight f3 check, followed by queen takes queen. So white didn't like that. So white played king h1. Nice. Most people in this class would play f4 with a fork, and then after check, you'd be like, oh, my queen, aw. Okay, the truth hurts.
Because they got a knight.
Yeah, okay, so king h1, bishop e4. I thought white sacrificed a pawn for an attack. He sacrificed a pawn so black could have the attack. Very suspicious. So white sacrificed a pawn, and still, Morphy has all of his pieces out and castled, and white's like, nah, let's play over here. So if it was over there, white would be doing great. Okay, obviously black's threatening mate. So what should white never do? Yeah, f3. If you have a better suggestion, let me know. Yeah, okay, f3. Bishop f3. Threatening mate again. So he took it. And now white's king is very safe. Queen g3. All these pieces will come to the king's defense.
No.
I'm not sure how though. Okay. Knight d2, knight f5, roar. Rook e8. Man, he gets all of his pieces into the attack.
I thought you're not supposed to do that with the...
No, but you have to get your pieces defending his knight, getting to the attack. Okay, and his f7 pawn's defended. Now, his knight is also defended by the rook directly and by queen g3 check indirectly. He's defending his knight two different ways. Okay, rook f2, queen check. So white has three legal moves. If rook g2, you lose your rook. If king h1, you lose this rook. So what did he play?
King
Nine.
No, king f1. Right. And now Morphy went, roar, roar. Now black has so many threats, we don't have enough time in class to discuss all of them. He's threatening queen f2 mate and rook e1 mate.
That's so black.
What does white do about that?
Resign.
You always say resign. You gotta be a bigger fighter than that.
Knight e4.
No, I'm too lazy to go on.
Knight e4, I like that. Then I would play rook takes e4, threatening queen f2 mate. Yeah, the truth hurts. So he took the rook, and now white played a good move. Now he had to take the rook, and the reason he has to do it is I'm always espousing Morphy uses all of his pieces. And then you were like, wait a minute, I have a question. He didn't use that piece, and you were all mad. Well, now he did. See? Okay, now black has the same threats as just discussed. So white played the trickiest move ever. Good move, too.
Rook e2.
Bishop takes f7.
Bishop takes f7. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
King, king h8.
Yeah, if you play king takes bishop, I take all of your pieces. I play queen takes check, and then I take your knight. Where all your pieces go. But Morphy saw that. He played king h8. Bam. Now, white's threatening checkmate and checkmate. And white did the only thing he could do to stop them both.
Resign.
He resigned, yeah. And I was wondering what would happen on knight e4, like you suggested, and it's the same. And we're threatening all these checkmates again. Probably this queen on the side of the board, that wasn't, you know what I mean? That wasn't good. Yeah. Yeah, so after king h8, white resigned. Look at all the black pieces attacking. And black's king in the corner, very safe. White's king not safe, and white's pieces over here on the side. And white's the one who sacrificed a pawn. Okay, and in this position, black sacrificed a piece, because he's mating him. And if you turn the engine on, which I did a few hours ago, it says check, every move is checkmate. This was one of my favorite ones, was rook e2. You play knight e3 check, and white only has one legal move. And then checkmate. Remove the defender. When you're using all your pieces to attack, there's a lot of ways to win. Right? c4 is the third best move, that's explosive. c4 is just kidding, because you hang mate in one. Hang two mate in ones. Yeah. Or is it mates in one? Two mate in ones or two mates in one? Guy is Donald Trump, he's playing golf. Because he might get a hole in one. He might get two holes in one. Or two hole in ones. You know why Donald Trump gets a lot of hole in ones when he's playing? Do you know why? I'm serious.
Because it's cheating?
He's cheating. Very good. Yeah, he's cheating. Yeah.
The Russians are helping him.
Because the Russians are helping him. That's a good class I got here. Yeah, the children know what's up. Okay, if only you adults knew what's up, then something would happen. All right, and the next time I fly to Japan and it's paid for by other people, that'll happen often. I'm going to play golf.
And then the Russians won't help him.
Probably not with a golf game. Yeah. There's a lot of good Russian golfers. See, if you play slowly when you golf, that's good. That's why the Russians are good. They're Russian. Did you get that? I didn't.
Isn't the French better?
What? Well, they're not good at golf because they're always retreating. Yeah. See, that's the difference between the French chess players and Donald Trump. They're retreating and he's retweeting. See, now you know. Now you, yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, even she got that. She's like, this is the worst class ever. Okay, but it's the only class. You know, what are you gonna do? Okay, so what did we learn today? We learned I'm the funniest. No, you already knew that. We learned get all your pieces out and castle and get your king safe. And when you mate your opponent, use all your pieces. And don't leave all your pieces on the back row, like most of Morphy's opponents. And don't put your pieces on the side where they do nothing. Why did he play queen takes a5? What's his queen doing over there? If like pieces come from off the board, he's going to attack them? Were there like pieces sitting over here? We didn't know because it's 1852. And he was like, the queen was looking at him?
The extra queen.
Yeah, what's going on around here?
Trying to attack
Yeah.
it.
So Morphy always had a safe king, and he always had all of his pieces attacking the king, and that's why he won 1,000,000 games, has a big Wikipedia page. And that's where you learn from when one side plays well and one side doesn't play well, you can try to figure out how to play chess better. There's actually a book that discusses that. It's called Chess Master versus Chess Amateur. Yeah. It's by Max Erva and Walter Meiden. I actually know Walter Meiden, but well, he died before you were born. But Max Erva really died before you were born. Yeah. Okay, Max Erva went to what school?
Old school.
Old school. He was the world amateur champion and the world champion, and he was the FIDE president. And when Fischer became world champion, he said, you're the champion. He crowned him. And he's like, wait, I want that back. I was the world champion. Now the question is, was he the world champion before Fischer was born? The answer is yes. He won the world championship in the 30s, and Fischer was born in 1943. So the guy was the world champion, then years later Fischer was born, then he crowned him world champion. See, I don't really want to be the chess world champion. I just want that crown. Like, you're world champion. Like, oh, sweet. Right? I don't really care if I'm good at chess. I want to have that crown. That's all that matters.
You're still the crown.
All right. See you guys next class. We start in 20 minutes. Unless you're not coming to next class, then I won't see you. Then I can look through the window and see you. Class
Is dismissed.
is dismissed.